Imagine the earth as more than rock and water, more than air and soil. Imagine it as a being, vast and patient, carrying its own story through billions of years. Within this story, life rises and fades, changes and transforms, never still, always, flowing forward. Now, in this long tale, humanity appears, a recent chapter in an ancient book, brief against the endless expanse of time. What if humans are only a phase in Earth's unfolding story, a passing moment like the waves upon its oceans, temporary, yet meaningful within the greater whole? Close your eyes and picture the Earth not as a backdrop, but as the central figure. In its own narrative, mountains rise like breaths, oceans spread like thoughts, forests stretch and shrink like dreams. Through the deep history of this world, countless forms of life have appeared, flourished, and then disappeared, leaving only faint traces behind. Trilobites once swarmed across the seafloor, filling the oceans with their endless movement, and then they were gone. Dinosaurs once thundered across the land, magnificent and vast, their shadows cast over entire ecosystems, and then they too faded. The earth continued, as it always does, carrying their memory in stone and in silence. Now it carries us. For a brief moment in its long tale, human beings walk the land, shaping it with thought, with fire, with tools and imagination. We plant our cities like forests of stone. We stretch lines of light across the darkness. We carve our marks upon the soil. To us, it feels immense, permanent, almost eternal. Yet to the earth, perhaps it is but a flicker, a spark in the long night. Just as the trilobites had their time, just as the dinosaurs had theirs. Perhaps humanity too is a phase, important within the moment, but not the whole of the story. Breathe slowly as you picture this. Imagine yourself resting within the flow of Earth's time. Imagine the billions of years that came before, and the billions yet to come, and within them, the slender thread of humanity's presence. It is humbling, but also soothing, to realize that we are part of something far greater, something that does not depend on us to continue. The earth has held ice ages and heat, silence and storms, deserts and seas. It has held the lives of countless beings, each with their own small importance, each a part of the greater whole. Humanity is one of these, no more and no less. A voice within the great chorus. When you imagine the earth this way, human history takes on a softer glow. Our stories, our inventions, our struggles, all become like the patterns of clouds across a wide sky, beautiful, shifting, temporary. We are not diminished by this perspective, but carried gently within it. For even if we are only a phase, we are still a part of Earth's dreaming, still a part of its unfolding. Every thought we have, every kindness we share, every song we sing, joins the endless current of life that the earth has nurtured since the first spark of existence. Picture the first life, billions of years ago, rising quietly in the oceans. Small, fragile, barely more than a whisper in the water, yet it carried within it the potential for all that would come. From that spark flowed every living thing, every creature, every tree, every bird, and eventually, us. We are not separate. From that first whisper, we are its continuation, a thread woven into the same fabric. And so, whether we remain for a long time or a short time, whether our phase is wide or narrow, we are still part of that greater unfolding. The earth does not hurry. It does not demand permanence. It allows every form of life its moment, and then it moves forward, carrying the memory of what has been, holding it in stone, in fossil, in the quiet memory of its soil. If humans are only a phase, then we are still honored, for we are given our place within the story. We are allowed to walk, to see, to wonder, to love, to dream, to rest beneath the stars. And when we are gone, the earth will continue, the rivers will flow, the mountains will stand, the winds will move across the plains. Other forms of life will rise, just as they always have. Perhaps new beings will look upon the earth with eyes we cannot imagine, carrying thoughts we cannot predict. They will walk their own paths, tell their own stories, live their own dreams. And to them, humanity will be a memory, written faintly in the rocks, in the artifacts we leave behind, in the quiet traces of what we were. But tonight, as you listen, there is no need to hurry toward that thought. Tonight, the focus is on the flow, on the gentle truth that we are part of something larger, something that does not depend upon us alone. Tonight, you are invited to rest within that flow, to let go of the need to control, to simply breathe and belong. As humanity has always belonged, as every creature has always belonged. Feel the calm that comes with that belonging. Feel the way your breath mirrors the breath of the world, the way your heartbeat echoes the steady rhythm of life itself. You are not separate from the earth's story. You are part of it. You are part of its dreaming, part of its unfolding, part of its quiet patience. And whether humanity is only a phase or something more, it does not change the peace of this moment, the calm of simply being here, now. Upon the earth. Let your thoughts drift, like clouds across a wide sky. Let your body rest, like stones upon the ground. Let your spirit settle, like leaves floating upon a still pond. You are within the earth's story, and the story is vast, patient, and endlessly unfolding. You are safe within it. You are carried within it. You are part of it. For, as long as you are here, and even beyond, your presence woven into its quiet memory. As the earth moves through its endless cycles, time itself stretches like a great ocean, flowing in waves far larger than any human life. Imagine those waves rising and falling, not in seconds or minutes, but in ages and epochs. Whole continents shift slowly, like drifting rafts upon this sea of time. Forests bloom and vanish. Deserts expand and retreat. Ice spreads and then melts away. Within these vast rhythms, humanity is but a ripple, a fleeting pattern upon the surface. Consider how many lives have come before you, countless generations of people who walked, dreamed, and rested under the same sky. Each of them was certain of their own importance, their own place, yet the earth carried them gently, as it carries you now. Their stories folded into the soil, their voices softened into silence, and still the earth continued. This does not make their existence meaningless. Instead, it makes it part of something greater, a chorus where every voice has its moment, before blending into the harmony of all that came before and all that will come after. Think of the early humans, long before cities, long before words carved into stone. They gathered around fires under starlit skies, much as you imagine now. Their hearts beat with the same steady rhythm. Their breath rose and fell in sleep, just as yours does. They too wondered at the mystery of their place, gazing upward at constellations that seemed eternal. But to the earth, even the constellations shift. Stars move, skies change. The heavens themselves are not fixed. All things flow forward, slowly, patiently, inevitably. If humans are only a phase in Earth's story, then our cities are like sandcastles upon the shore. They rise quickly, intricate and grand, admired and cherished, and then, in time, the tide returns to claim them. The earth does not judge this. The tide does not resist. It is simply the rhythm of being, the endless cycle of creation and return. And within that cycle, there is beauty, there is peace. Imagine the ruins of ancient civilizations, their stones softened by wind and rain, their voices long quiet. They were once as full of life and ambition as we are now. They dreamed of permanence, yet they too were phases, carried within Earth's greater unfolding. And still, when you stand among those ruins, there is a calm presence, a sense that the earth remembers without regret. The stones rest where they have fallen, the grass grows around them, the sky arches gently above. Nothing is lost, only transformed. You too are part of this transformation. Your life, your thoughts, your experiences, all flow into the greater whole. The earth holds them, not as separate, but as part of its own story. When you rest, when you breathe, you are moving with the earth, sharing its rhythm, sharing its patience. There is no need to cling tightly to permanence, for permanence is not the way of this world. The way is flow, the way is change, the way is quiet endurance. And yet, even within change, there is continuity. The earth itself has endured through billions of years. Mountains erode, oceans shift, life rises and falls, but the planet itself continues, turning gently through space, carrying all its phases within. Humanity is one of these phases. Perhaps long from now, other forms of life will look back upon our time, as we look back upon the trilobites or the dinosaurs. Perhaps they will wonder about us, imagining what it was like to walk upon the earth as humans did, to build cities, to dream of stars, to tell stories at night. This thought need not bring sadness. Instead, it brings perspective. For even as we are temporary, we are also deeply connected. The breath you take now, the calm that fills your body, is part of a thread that stretches back through time and forward into the future. It links you to every being that has ever lived, and every being that will live after. The earth carries that thread, weaving it into the fabric of its story. Breathe into that thought. Feel the way your own life joins into the flow of all life. You are not alone, not isolated, but woven into something vast, patient, and enduring. Every breath is part of the earth's breathing. Every heartbeat is part of its rhythm. Every moment of rest is part of its quiet dream. Picture the earth from far above, seen from the stillness of space. A glowing sphere of blue and green, wrapped in soft clouds, drifting slowly through the darkness. From this height, humanity's presence is almost invisible. No walls, no cities, no lights can be seen. Only the whole, complete in itself, beautiful in its wholeness. And yet, within that glowing sphere, life stirs, life breathes, life dreams, including you. You are within it, part of it, carried by it. If humanity is only a phase, then this moment is its gift, the chance to exist, to breathe, to feel, to rest beneath the stars, the chance to be aware, to wonder, to love, to imagine. These are treasures, not measured in permanence, but in presence. To be here now, to belong to this moment within Earth's endless story, is enough, more than enough. It is everything. Let your body sink into stillness, as the earth itself holds you. Let your thoughts soften, drifting like leaves upon a stream. Let your breath slow, steady, calm, joining the ancient rhythm of the world. You are part of the earth's story, whether for a moment or an age, and within that belonging, you may rest. Imagine for a while that the earth is not only the ground beneath your feet, not only the oceans, the forests, the air and clouds, but something more, living, breathing presence, ancient and steady. To picture this is to feel the slow heartbeat of a being that has endured for billions of years, its pulse running beneath rivers, its breath carried on the winds, its awareness spread across every forest, every shore, every mountain ridge. When you lie quietly, as you are now, listening to the calm, you may begin to sense that you are resting inside something alive, something conscious, something that has always been. The story of humans, in this way, becomes less a story of dominance, and more a story of participation. We are not the first guests to arrive, nor will we be the last. There were ages before us, filled with creatures unimaginable in their size and form, from trilobites scuttling across ancient seafloors to towering ferns reaching for prehistoric skies. Their time was long and full, and yet the earth carried them with the same care it carries us now. Their fossils, pressed into stone, are memories of a time the earth once dreamed. Our presence, too, is a kind of dream, vivid and bright in its moment, destined to fade into memory, but never truly lost. To think of the earth as conscious is not to imagine a human mind stretched across continents, but something gentler, more diffuse. Perhaps it is like the way a tree feels the sunlight through every leaf, or the way a forest seems to hold a single mood despite the countless beings within it. The earth's awareness could be like that, a wide, embracing perception, subtle and constant. In such an awareness, our joys and struggles are not ignored, but held with the same patience as rivers carving valleys, as glaciers moving stone, as seasons shifting endlessly. If humans are a phase in this living story, then our creativity and restlessness are not accidents but expressions of the earth itself. When we build, when we paint, when we write songs, perhaps it is the earth experimenting through us, stretching into new forms of expression. And when we falter, when we struggle to live gently, perhaps those too are lessons the earth is absorbing. Much as an organism learns from both ease and difficulty, it is comforting to think that even our mistakes are not wasted, that they too are woven into the consciousness of the world, part of its learning, part of its unfolding. Consider, for example, fire. Long before humans tamed it, lightning would strike forests, and flames would dance across landscapes. To some creatures, this was destruction. To others, it was renewal, clearing ground for fresh growth. When we learned to hold fire, to cook with it, to gather around it, that was the earth finding a new way to use an old element. In our firelight, stories were born, communities were held together, warmth was shared. The earth, through us, found a way to create not only light and heat but myth and memory. The same element that once roared across plains now glowed quietly in the circle of our hands. Or think of language itself. Birds sing, whales call, wolves howl, and insects hum in their own patterns of sound. When humans began to speak in words, in sentences, It was as though the Earth had discovered a new rhythm of voice. Through us, the planet began to tell itself stories, to name stars, to describe rivers, to remember ancestors. Our words, spoken softly under the night sky, are another layer of the Earth speaking to itself, testing new ways of knowing. It is soothing to imagine that every poem, every whispered lullaby, is not lost but absorbed into the greater fabric of planetary memory. In this view, death too becomes gentler. To die is not to vanish but to be returned, to be gathered back into the great consciousness. Our bodies, made of minerals, water, stardust, dissolve into soil, into air, into streams, and the Earth remembers us in every particle. The love we gave, the kindness we shared, the stories we told, they remain as soft imprints, rippling outwards, faint but enduring. The Earth, in its vast patience, never forgets. Each of us is a note in its eternal song. Imagine a forest clearing, a place where generations of people once passed. The ground holds traces, footprints pressed long ago, fragments of tools, remnants of firings. Over time, the forest has returned. Trees rise, their roots crisscrossing the hidden marks of human presence. Birds weave nests, small animals scurry, rain gathers in leaves. The clearing no longer remembers in the way humans do, but the Earth remembers differently. The memory lives in the soil chemistry, in the mineral traces, in the subtle pattern of growth. To the Earth, nothing is truly forgotten. This thought allows us to breathe more deeply. Our time is part of a continuum, and even as one phase fades, another unfolds. The Earth has already known phases beyond counting. It has seen ages where the air was thick with oxygen and insects grew to enormous size, ages when glaciers stretched across continents, ages when volcanoes filled the sky with ash. Each phase had its beings, its challenges, its beauty. Each ended, and each was folded into the larger memory. We, too, are part of that ebb and flow, neither less nor more than any other. When you rest now, you may feel yourself as both small and vast. Small, in the sense that your body is but one among billions, one moment among endless time. Vast, in the sense that everything within you is connected to everything around you. The minerals in your bones, once part of ancient mountains, that water in your veins once flowing in rivers, the oxygen in your breath once released by leaves. You are the Earth experiencing itself in human form, and the Earth is resting through you as you rest. Picture yourself lying on a quiet hillside, looking at the night sky. Stars glow above, scattered across the dark. Around you, the land is still, holding its slow, deep breath. The thought comes, the Earth itself may be watching the stars, through your eyes. The Earth may be listening to the silence, through your ears. The Earth may be feeling its own heartbeat, through your chest. In this way, consciousness is not something humans invented, but something we inherited, something we carry for the planet. For a time, as you sink deeper into this thought, let it soothe you. You are not separate from the Earth's story. You are not a stranger in its dream. You are a chapter, a paragraph, perhaps even a single sentence, but a sentence that belongs, that is necessary, that is remembered. Rest in that belonging. Rest in the knowledge that the Earth is alive, conscious in its vast and quiet way, and that you are part of that consciousness, woven into its breath, carried in its song. Imagine the Earth as an old storyteller, not one who speaks in words, but one who speaks in rhythms, in seasons, in the rise and fall of oceans, in the blooming and fading of forests. To rest with this thought is to imagine yourself curled within the embrace of a being so ancient that its memory stretches back before the mountains were raised, before the rivers cut their valleys, before even the first simple cells awoke in the primordial seas. The Earth has always been telling its story, and humans are a passage within it, a passage filled with intensity, color, and longing. When you think of humanity as just a phase in this greater story, it can feel humbling, yet profoundly soothing. For even the most brilliant stars are but sparks in the cosmos, and yet they light the skies for ages. In the same way, our presence on this planet may be brief compared to the slow dance of continents and the deep cycles of climate, but our light is real, it is meaningful, and it is part of the glow of Earth's dream. Consider the slow movement of tectonic plates drifting silently across the planet's mantle. Mountains rise, fold, crumble, and rise again. Oceans open and close, coastlines shift, deserts bloom and then retreat. Entire worlds are reshaped on a scale so gradual that no single human lifetime could perceive it. And yet, if Earth is conscious, these are its slow breaths, its subtle adjustments, its way of shifting in its sleep. Our human civilizations, with their centuries of striving, appear almost like flickering fireflies against that vast backdrop. But there is comfort in that flicker. Each light adds to the constellation of memory. Now picture the forests. For millions of years, forests have grown, fallen, and grown again. Great waves of green covering the land. In some eras, towering ferns and horsetails ruled. In others, vast conifers shaded the ground. And in our own time, flowering trees bring bursts of color. If Earth has awareness, perhaps it feels the forests as a kind of living hair, sensitive to the winds, responsive to the sun. Every rustle of leaves, every bird nesting in branches, every insect tunneling in bark becomes part of the larger sensation. And when humans walk beneath those trees, when we breathe the oxygen they exhale, it may be that the earth is sharing with us its own breath, inviting us to join the rhythm. Rivers, too, can be thought of as the earth's veins, carrying water, like lifeblood across its surface. They gather from mountains, trickle through meadows, carve canyons, and empty into seas. Along their courses, civilizations rise and fall, villages nestled by their banks, cities flourish where they meet oceans, yet the rivers flow on, long after human voices quiet. To imagine the earth conscious is to see each river not just as water, but as memory, carrying the taste of minerals, the drift of soil, the scent of forests. Each drop of water that touches your lips once belonged to countless journeys. It may have fallen as rain on ancient creatures. It may have frozen in glaciers. It may have flowed past roots of long-vanished trees. In this way, even the simplest sip connects you to ages of the earth's life. If humans are a phase, we are also a kind of dream within this larger consciousness. In us, the earth imagines itself differently. Through our art, our music, our mathematics, our explorations of stars and atoms, the planet is exploring new forms of thought. A painting is not just pigment on canvas, it is the minerals of the soil reassembled into vision. A symphony is not just sound, but the vibration of wood, the tension of metal strings, the breath of lungs moving air. Every act of creation is the earth creating through us. To realize this is to feel less alone, less burdened. We are instruments, and the music we make is part of a larger harmony. There is also the thought of dreams within dreams. If Earth is conscious, perhaps it dreams of what comes after us, even as we live now. Just as forests prepare seedlings even as old trees fall, so too might the Earth be preparing new forms of life, new ways of being. Our existence may be the middle verse of a long poem, not its conclusion. This should not frighten us, but soothe us, for it means the song goes on. It means that the Earth is never without story, never without renewal. And yet, within this vast rhythm, our presence matters. Our kindnesses, our tenderness, our capacity to notice beauty, these are not wasted gestures. When you pause to marvel at a sunset, to listen to rain, to hold the hand of another, the earth feels that noticing, as though its own consciousness is seeing itself through you. When you laugh, when you weep, when you sing, those sounds fold into the larger memory. The earth is not indifferent to us. It is experiencing itself through us. To live, then, is to contribute to a chorus larger than we can imagine. Think now of fireflies on a summer night. Each small light blinks on and off, seemingly insignificant in the darkness. But step back, and you see a field alive with shimmering pulses, a living constellation on the ground. Humanity may be like those fireflies, each life a brief spark, but together creating a pattern of radiance. From the perspective of the earth, these flickers are precious. They are reminders that even brief light is meaningful, even transient beauty adds to the whole. Let your mind drift to the oceans. They are the deep memory of the planet, vast and timeless, covering most of its surface. Within them, life first arose, and within them countless species still flourish, from the smallest plankton to the greatest whales. The oceans breathe in rhythm with the moon, tides rising and falling endlessly. When you stand by the sea and listen to the waves, you are hearing the earth's own breath. If earth is alive, then the oceans are its dreaming mind, fluid, shifting, full of hidden voices. Every droplet carries the echo of ancient beginnings. To listen to the sea is to listen to your oldest ancestor. There is also something deeply comforting in imagining the Earth as a conscious being, because it suggests we are never alone. Even when you stand in solitude, the ground beneath you is aware. The air around you is part of a larger presence. The trees, the stones, the rivers, all are part of the same mind. This does not mean they think in human ways, but that they are included in a larger awareness, one that holds you as well. When you lie down to rest, you are resting in the palm of that awareness. You are not separate. You are carried. Now imagine the passage of time beyond human reckoning. Millions of years stretch forward. Civilizations may come and go. Species may rise and fall, but the Earth continues to turn, continues to breathe. It does not rush. It does not fear. It simply unfolds, phase after phase, story after story, and in each story, the traces of the previous ones remain. Our phase may end, but our presence will not vanish entirely. It will be woven into the soil, into the layers of rock, into the chemistry of oceans, into the quiet memory of the planet. In this way, we live on, not as isolated beings, but as part of an unbroken chain. That as you rest now, let yourself be part of that chain. Feel your breath as part of the Earth's breath. Feel your heartbeat as part of its pulse. Feel your thoughts as ripples within its dreaming. You are not apart from this living world, but a voice within it, a gentle note in a song that has no ending. Think now of the sky, that endless expanse that arches over the Earth, changing its face, yet never ceasing to embrace the land below. By day it holds the warmth of the sun, light scattering through air to paint the sky blue, and by night it reveals its deep velvet cloak, scattered with countless stars. If the Earth is conscious, the sky may be its gaze, wide, attentive, ever watching. To live beneath that gaze is to live within the awareness of something far greater than yourself, yet something that welcomes you. The sunrises you have seen, the sunsets that painted your world in gold and crimson, are not simply passing moments, but gestures of the Earth's ongoing presence, signs that its story continues. As you imagine this, feel yourself standing at the edge of a meadow. The grass sways in a rhythm so calm it feels like breathing. Each blade is a small antenna of awareness, each flower a delicate burst of attention. Bees drift between blossoms, carrying pollen from one to another, weaving invisible connections. Insects hum, birds call, and all of it together is a symphony of small lives, layered into something whole. If you pause long enough, you sense that the Earth is perceiving itself through all these tiny presences. Your presence, too, is part of that fabric. Your heartbeat, another rhythm woven into the field. Consider the stones beneath the meadow, stones that have lain for millions of years, shaped by pressure and time. Though silent, they carry memory. They have known fire, having once been molten deep in the earth. They have known water, washed and smoothed by ancient seas. They have known ice, scored by glaciers that passed overhead. They are not lifeless, but witnesses, carriers of the Earth's oldest awareness. When you pick up a stone and hold it in your hand, you are holding a page from the earliest chapters of the Earth's story. To imagine the planet conscious is to imagine that stone, still alive with memory, still aware of its place in the whole dot. Now picture the great migrations that occur across the planet. Birds fly across continents, whales journey across oceans, caribou roam across tundra. These movements are not random, but part of the Earth's patterns, like blood circulating, like signals moving through a body. When a flock of birds wheels in the sky, turning together in perfect arcs, it is as if the Earth is expressing itself in motion. When whales sing in the deep, it is as if the Earth is humming in its sleep. And when humans travel, carrying stories, cultures, and memories across mountains and seas, we too are part of this circulation, part of the larger flow. If humans are just a phase in the Earth's life, then perhaps our restlessness, our desire to explore, is the Earth itself stretching out, trying its limbs, reaching beyond itself through us. Our voyages into space, our telescopes aimed at distant galaxies, could be the planet's way of looking outward, wondering what lies beyond. In this way, our curiosity is not just ours, but the Earth's curiosity expressed through human form. Every question we ask is part of the planet thinking, reflecting, and dreaming. It is gentle to realize this, because it means we are never truly alone in our wondering. When you gaze at the stars, you are not a solitary being staring into the void. You are the Earth, looking at the cosmos through human eyes. The awe you feel is the awe of the planet itself, stretching its awareness beyond its surface. touching, the infinite. That awe is not fleeting. It is part of the deep consciousness of the earth, carried forward in the memory of its being. Think now of the cycles of life, the way all things return. A leaf falls, drifts to the soil, breaks down into nutrients, and those nutrients are drawn up again by roots. Insects feed, fungi grow, new plants rise. Nothing is wasted, nothing is lost. The cycle continues endlessly, weaving life out of death, renewal out of fading. If Earth is alive, this cycle is its heartbeat, steady and dependable. We are part of it too. Our bodies, our breath, our actions, all eventually return, transformed but not erased. There is comfort in knowing that even when our individual story ends, the larger story carries on, and we are not excluded from it. We are threads in its endless weaving. Picture a shoreline at dawn. The tide has receded, leaving shells scattered across the sand, each one the remnant of a life once lived. Tiny crabs scuttle, shorebirds probe the wet ground. The waves roll in and out with eternal patience. The sun rises slowly, turning the water into a sheet of silver. To stand there is to feel the vast continuity of life, the sense that countless beings have come and gone, and yet the story flows on, unbroken. You are one of those beings now, your footprints left in the sand for a short time, before the waves erase them. But even when they vanish, the memory is held in the ocean, in the air, in the gentle awareness of the planet. When you breathe deeply, the air entering your lungs has circled the earth countless times. The oxygen you draw in may have once been released by a fern in an ancient forest, or by algae in a faraway sea, or by a tree standing now on the other side of the world. Each breath is a reminder of connection. Each exhale returns part of you to the atmosphere, where it will travel, be absorbed, and continue the cycle. If Earth is conscious, then every breath you take is part of its own breathing, a shared rhythm that unites you with all living beings. Now think of the Earth's long patience. It has endured extinctions and renewals, ice ages and warm ages, impacts from space, and upheavals from within. Through all of this, it has continued to create, to nourish, to dream life into existence again and again. To rest with this thought is to let go of urgency. The Earth does not rush. Its story is not hurried. If you feel the weight of time pressing on you, remember that you are carried within a being that holds patience beyond imagining. You are not required to solve everything, to endure everything, to hold everything. You are part of something that carries you, gently and without end. Picture yourself lying on soft grass, the sky above vast and unbroken. Around you, the earth hums quietly, a low vibration that is felt rather than heard. You are safe in that hum, embraced by a presence that knows you, that holds you as it holds mountains, rivers, and forests. Your worries, your struggles, your longings, all are seen, all are included in the vast awareness. The earth is not judging you, not demanding from you, but simply holding you. The way soil holds roots, the way air holds wings, the way oceans hold currents. As you allow this thought to deepen, let your body grow heavier, sinking into the earth's embrace. Let your breath slow, matching the calm rhythm of the planet's breath. Let your mind drift, like a leaf floating on a stream, carried without effort. You are part of a living, conscious world, a phase in its unfolding story, and that story is vast, beautiful, and ongoing. You are safe within it, and you may rest. Imagine the forests, those great lungs of the earth, stretching across continents, rising in endless layers of green. Their canopies form a living roof, a woven ceiling of leaves that catch sunlight and filter it into soft golden streams. Beneath that canopy, the air is cool, scented with soil and moss, alive with subtle sounds. Birds call to one another from hidden branches, insects hum, and the quiet rustle of small animals moving through leaves is like a heartbeat beneath the silence. If the earth is alive, forests are among its deepest breaths, inhaling light, exhaling life. To walk among the trees is to walk within the lungs of a conscious being, wrapped in its steady rhythm, sheltered by its care. Think of the way roots extend underground, reaching outward, seeking connection. Tree roots intertwine, not only with each other, but with fungi that form vast networks, invisible highways of communication. Through these networks, trees share resources, passing sugars, water, and information from one to another. A dying tree may give its remaining strength to others, ensuring the survival of the forest as a whole. This is not simply survival. It is cooperation, generosity, awareness. If Earth is conscious, then its forests are living expressions of compassion, great acts of sharing that echo across centuries. Now picture the oceans, the largest and deepest parts of Earth's body. Vast blue expanses stretch beyond the horizon, carrying currents that connect every coast, every climate, every creature. In their depths live beings so strange and luminous that they seem born from dreams. Jellyfish that glow in darkness, fish with delicate lanterns, whales that sing songs carried for hundreds of miles. The ocean is not empty. It is alive with endless voices, an orchestra playing in frequencies both heard and unheard. If Earth is conscious, the oceans may be its thoughts, vast and flowing, deep and unknowable, constantly moving, never still. Consider the mountains, those ancient bones of the earth, rising toward the sky with a kind of eternal stillness. They seem motionless, but in truth they are in motion, slowly shifting, slowly lifting, shaped by tectonic forces beneath. They hold glaciers on their peaks, rivers at their feet, forests along their slopes. They are places where air thins and silence deepens, where the veil between human awareness and planetary awareness seems almost translucent. To stand on a mountain is to feel the earth's spine, strong, unyielding, yet alive with slow transformation. These are not just rocks, they are structures of presence, pillars of memory, older than language, older than thought. As you rest with this image, imagine yourself lying within a valley at the base of a great mountain. The wind moves gently through the grass, carrying with it the scent of stone, pine, and water. A river runs nearby, its song soft but steady, an endless lullaby. Overhead, clouds drift slowly, reshaping themselves with calm patience. This valley is part of the earth's body, and so are you. Your heartbeat is another sound in the chorus, your breath another wind passing through. You belong here, not as an intruder, but as part of the story, as natural as the river's current or the mountain's shadow. Think now of fire. For millions of years, fire has moved across the earth, sparked by lightning, carried by wind, consuming and renewing. At first it may seem destructive, but in truth it is a teacher of balance. Forests burned, only to regrow richer. Grasslands were renewed by its passage. Seeds awakened in heat to sprout with new life. Fire is the earth's cleansing breath, its way of reshaping and renewing. Humans learned to tend fire, to carry it, to make it part of their story. In this way, we became part of the earth's dialogue with itself, another channel for its energy, another expression of its consciousness. Now turn your thoughts to the night sky, where Earth is not only looking outward, but also listening inward. The stars are distant, yet their light falls gently upon the planet's surface, touching oceans, deserts, mountains, and forests alike. The moon pulls at the tides, guiding waters with its steady rhythm. For countless generations, humans have gazed at this sky, seeing stories, constellations, signs. We thought we were telling stories about the heavens, but perhaps it was the earth telling stories through us, using our imaginations as its voice. The myths, the constellations, the dreams we see in the stars may be part of the planet's own dreaming, shared with us as we rest beneath its gaze. If humans are just a phase in Earth's long unfolding, then even our art, our music, our languages may be expressions of the planet itself. When a child sings, it may be the earth singing through them. When an elder tells a story, it may be the earth remembering through them. When an artist paints, it may be the earth seeing itself anew. In this way, all of our creativity is not separate from nature, but part of nature, part of the earth's imagination. Dreaming in human form, picture the flow of a river, winding through forests and meadows, carving valleys as it moves toward the sea. Each droplet in that river has traveled far, from clouds, from glaciers, from springs deep in the ground. The river carries memory, carrying with it minerals, soil, seeds, and sometimes even fragments of human life. The river is always moving, always changing, yet always whole. To lie beside a river is to feel the earth's pulse, to hear its quiet thoughts spoken in ripples and eddies. You may dip your hand into the water and feel its coolness, knowing you touch something that has touched mountains, skies, and oceans. You are part of that same flow, carried forward in the greater stream. As you listen, let the thoughts settle. You are not apart from the earth's consciousness, you are within it. Your dreams at night are like dreams within the earth's greater dreaming. Your questions are its questions, your wonder its wonder. Even your resting now, in this gentle moment, is part of the earth resting, part of its ongoing breath. You are never alone, never separate, for you are held in this vast awareness that includes oceans, skies, forests, fire, mountains, and rivers. You are a chapter in a book that is still being written, and the pages stretch far beyond imagination. Let this awareness cradle you, like the arms of a parent holding a child, like the embrace of the sea around a drifting shell. The earth is alive, aware, and dreaming, and you are one of its dreams. You may rest now, gently, calmly, peacefully, as the story carries you onward. Now imagine the passage of deep time, measured not in centuries or millennia, but in the great slow rhythms of the earth itself. Mountains rising, eroding, then rising again. Oceans forming, retreating, surging forward to claim new shores. Continents drifting, colliding, separating, all at a pace so gradual that it seems motionless. Yet over the ages, entire landscapes are transformed. To the earth, this is a natural breath, a slow exhale and inhale, stretching across millions of years. In this perspective, humans are still young, a recent flicker in the long unfolding of planetary life, that as the earth moves through its own cycles, it carries with it an unbroken memory of all that has come before. The earliest microbial life, small and delicate, flourished in shallow seas, spreading quietly, learning how to harvest light and energy. Over immense stretches of time, life grew more complex, until forests blanketed the land, and creatures of every shape and size wandered under the sun. The earth was never passive in this. It was a stage, a womb, and a participant. Its soil provided nutrients, its air shifted to support breath, its waters nurtured growth. If we see the earth as conscious, then every new form of life was not an accident, but an exploration, a dream unfolding in countless variations. In this dreaming, humans appeared. For the earth, our emergence was not sudden, but gradual, shaped by forces stretching back through deep ancestry. Long before we told stories or lit fires, we were part of a continuum, guided by the planet's patient rhythms. Our curiosity, our ability to imagine and to create, may have been the Earth's own curiosity flowering in a new form. We are the Earth considering itself, reflecting back its own beauty and mystery through human eyes. Think of how we shape the land, and how the land shapes us in return. A desert teaches patience, survival, and awareness of water. A forest teaches interconnection, the necessity of balance. A mountain teaches resilience, endurance, the power of stillness. A river teaches flow, adaptability, persistence. Each landscape is a teacher, and humanity has always been its student. Even in cities, built of stone and steel, we are still using the earth's resources, still living within its skin. We may cover soil with pavement, but beneath it, the earth remains steady and aware. Consider firelight again, the circle where our ancestors gathered. Around the flames, they told stories, painted with words, wove dreams into sound. These stories were not only for each other, but perhaps for the earth as well, a way of speaking back to the being that sustained them. Every myth about the stars, every tale about animals, every ritual under the moonlight may have been the earth speaking to itself through human voices, weaving narratives into the night. Imagine now the sound of ocean waves rolling endlessly against a shore. Each wave is both unique and part of a rhythm that has gone on for millions of years. Sitting beside such waves, you feel their calm persistence, the endless patience of the sea. In each wave's rise and fall, you might hear the earth whispering to itself, breathing softly through time. The waves do not hurry, do not falter. They remind us of our own place in the rhythm, small, yet embraced within the infinite. The sky too becomes part of this story. Clouds form and dissolve, carrying water across continents, shading forests, feeding rivers. Sunlight travels across unimaginable distances to warm the surface, and the earth gathers it, transforms it into life. The atmosphere, invisible yet present, is like the breath of a conscious being, holding everything within its protective embrace. When you breathe in, you are not only taking in air, you are sharing in this planetary breath, one among countless cycles of inhalation and exhalation that have sustained life for billions of years. There are moments in the human story when we forget this connection, moments when we imagine ourselves apart, separate, somehow above the earth rather than within it. Yet every return to silence, every walk under trees, every glance at the night sky draws us back into awareness. We are not apart, we are expressions of the same fabric, woven into the same song. The heartbeat we feel in our chests is also the pulse of the planet, echoing through rivers, winds, and roots. Picture a meadow at dusk, the air cooling as the sun lowers toward the horizon. Grass bends gently with the evening breeze, fireflies begin to glow, and the sound of crickets rises in a steady chorus. This meadow is alive with awareness, not in words or thoughts, but in presence, in quiet being. As you rest there in imagination, you are part of the meadow, part of the breath of the earth. Your stillness is its stillness, your calm is its calm. In this moment, you are both human and earth together, inseparable, harmonious. And what of the future? If humans are only a phase, then there will be phases after us, as there were before us. The earth will continue dreaming, shaping, creating. Perhaps new beings will rise, carrying different forms of awareness, perceiving the planet in ways we cannot imagine. This is not cause for fear, but for peace. Just as other species once thrived and gave way, so too may we. Our presence will not vanish without trace, for every action, every word, every story is already part of the Earth's memory, part of its continuing consciousness. This perspective can soothe the mind. It allows us to release urgency, to rest in the assurance that we belong, that we are held in something vast and enduring. The Earth does not rush, and neither must we. Our role is to experience, to share, to contribute our small part to the great unfolding, and then to rest, trusting the story will continue. As you breathe now, let each inhalation feel like the earth drawing in, and each exhalation like the earth releasing. You are part of its breath, part of its dreaming. You are not alone, not separate, but carried always within the consciousness of this ancient and living being. Imagine for a moment that time itself is like a great river, flowing endlessly forward, carrying with it not only days and nights, seasons and years, but entire epochs, entire lifetimes of the planet. Along its banks stand forests, deserts, and mountains, each bearing witness as the river moves steadily on. We, as humans, are like travelers who step briefly into this current, experiencing its flow, touching its waters, leaving ripples that spread outward before blending once again into the whole. The earth, however, is not swept away by this current. It is the river, aware of every bend, every swell, every drop of water that has ever passed. In that sense, when we imagine ourselves as part of the earth's story, we are not separate characters but threads in a single vast tapestry. Each thread has its color, its unique length, but together they form the fabric of a living consciousness. The earth remembers every thread, every moment woven into its being. Even when a species disappears, or when a civilization fades, the pattern remains. The memory is never lost. Now picture the earliest days of humanity. Small groups of Homo erectus moving across savannas, following rivers, resting beneath trees. Their lives were shaped entirely by the land, their survival dependent on its rhythms. The tools they carried, the fire they tended, the shelters they built, all were drawn from Earth's resources, small expressions of the planet's generosity. In their laughter, in their struggles, in their songs around firelight, perhaps the earth was listening, experiencing through them the beginning of its own storytelling. Every spoken word was the earth giving itself voice. Every dance was the earth celebrating itself in motion. The human journey unfolded slowly. Villages grew into towns, towns into cities, cities into civilizations. Each step forward was both a discovery and a remembrance, for nothing humans created was separate from what the earth already carried. The first clay pots were simply earth, reshaped by hands. The first songs were echoes of wind, bird calls, river flows. The first stories were mirrors of stars and seasons, told with words but born from the patterns of the world. In this way, humanity's rise was the earth stretching into new forms, not an intrusion but a blossoming. When we build, when we carve stone into monuments or melt metal into tools, we often think of ourselves as creators. Yet all creation is shared. Stone, metal, fire, and water. These are the elements the earth offers, and we are only shaping them briefly before they return. Even the greatest cities, with towers of steel and glass, are temporary sculptures made of earth's materials, destined one day to dissolve, to be taken back into soil and sand. To the earth, this is not loss but continuation. Its consciousness does not end when one phase fades, it simply shifts into another form. Imagine now the sound of rain falling gently upon leaves, each drop a small percussion note in a larger symphony. Rain has fallen on this planet for billions of years, carving rivers, nourishing seeds, shaping landscapes. When you hear rain, you are hearing an ancient language, one the earth has spoken since its earliest days. To lie listening to rainfall is to listen to the planet's heartbeat expressed in water, soft and eternal. The earth may not speak in words, but it speaks in rain, in wind, in waves, in firecrackle, in birdsong, in silence. These are its voices, and humans are only one among them. Consider the animals, each with its own awareness, each with its own way of experiencing the world. Birds migrate across oceans with precision. Whales sing across great distances. Wolves communicate in howls that echo through forests. These are not random sounds. They are expressions of connection, signals of awareness. To think of Earth as conscious is also to think of it as expressing itself in countless forms of life, each one a fragment of a greater awareness. Every creature, from the tiniest insect to the largest mammal, carries a piece of the Earth's perception, adding to the vastness of its being. Humans, with their complex minds, are part of this too. Our awareness may seem unique, but it is not separate. When we gaze at the night sky and wonder about stars, perhaps it is the Earth wondering about the universe through our eyes. When we feel awe in the presence of mountains, perhaps it is the Earth admiring itself. When we grieve, when we love, when we dream, perhaps these are emotions the Earth is experiencing in ways it could not without us. To think this way is not to diminish our humanity, but to place it gently within the larger embrace of planetary consciousness. Now imagine a quiet desert under starlight. Sand stretches out in all directions, rippling like waves frozen in time. The air is still, the silence profound. Above, the Milky Way arcs across the sky, millions of stars shimmering in the darkness. You stand in this desert, and for a moment, you feel very small. Yet in the stillness, another feeling rises. You are part of something vast, something alive. The desert itself is awake, listening, holding your presence. The stars, distant though they are, seem woven into the same fabric. In this silence, you sense the Earth's awareness, timeless, steady, embracing both the desert's emptiness and the fullness of your own breath. When we rest in such awareness, the question of whether humans are temporary becomes less troubling. Every phase ends, but every ending is also a continuation. The trilobites of ancient seas had their time, the dinosaurs had theirs, the towering forests of prehistoric ages had theirs. Each contributed to the Earth's unfolding consciousness, each left traces that remain. Humans, too, will one day leave. Traces, stories pressed into stone, ideas carried in languages, footprints fossilized in mud. These traces will join the greater memory, carried forward in the Earth's living awareness. As you breathe in now, feel yourself as part of this flow. With each inhalation, you take in air shaped by countless lives before you, molecules once part of trees, part of oceans, part of stars. With each exhalation, you return something of yourself to the world, something the Earth receives and carries. Onward, you are not separate, you are not forgotten. You are part of the great dreaming, the ongoing consciousness that holds forests, deserts, rivers, and skies. You are part of the Earth's story, as much as rain, as much as mountains, as much as light. Let yourself rest in this thought, as though the Earth itself were holding you, steady and gentle, cradling you in its vast awareness. You are a phase in its story, a dream in its long unfolding, and in that dream you are cherished, remembered, and embraced. Picture the great cycles of the Earth, those rhythms that move slowly, far beyond the scale of human lifetimes. Ice ages come and go, glaciers carving valleys, retreating and returning again. Forests spread across continents, then withdraw as climates shift. Seas rise, reclaiming land, and then fall back, exposing shorelines once more. To the Earth, these are not disruptions but breaths, slow and patient, like the tide of a living being inhaling and exhaling. Each cycle brings change, but the consciousness of the planet remains, holding every phase as part of a greater whole. Humans, with our short lives, often measure time in days, years, perhaps centuries, yet the Earth's awareness is measured in eons. It remembers the first stirring of life in shallow seas, remembers the forests of giant ferns, remembers the long reign of creatures that no longer walk the land. Its memory is not stored in words or books, but in the very stones beneath our feet, in the fossils pressed into rock, in the layers of ice that hold the stories of ancient climates. The earth is a library of itself, and everything that has ever happened is still present, still remembered in some form. To imagine the earth as conscious is to imagine that nothing is wasted, no moment truly forgotten. When a bird sings in a forest, its song becomes part of the atmosphere, vibrations moving outward into the air, faint but enduring. When a child laughs, that sound ripples into the world, absorbed by the land, by the sky, by the very air itself. Even when we are gone, the echoes of our presence remain, woven into the larger awareness. In this sense, humans are not only temporary, we are also eternal, because every moment we live becomes part of the memory of the earth. Now think of balance. Every ecosystem is a delicate harmony of countless lives, plants, animals, microbes, rivers, winds, soils, and skies all working together. If the earth is conscious, then balance is one of its deepest values, the way it sustains itself through cooperation. In a forest, no tree grows alone. It shares with others, it competes at times, but always within the larger pattern of the whole. In the oceans, currents distribute heat and nutrients so that life may flourish in many forms. Even in deserts, where life seems scarce, balance exists. Plants bloom after rain, animals adapt to scarcity, and the silence itself becomes part of the harmony. Humans, too, are part of this balance, though we sometimes forget. Yet even our forgetting is part of the earth's awareness. It watches, it learns, it adapts through us. Imagine lying in a meadow under the evening sky. Around you, the grass sways gently, moved by a breeze that has traveled far. Above, the stars begin to emerge, one by one, until the whole sky is filled with shimmering light. In that moment, you may feel very small, but you may also sense that your thoughts, your breath, your very heartbeat are part of the same vast rhythm. The stars above, the earth below, the air around you, and you yourself all are connected. All are expressions of the same great consciousness. The earth does not see you as separate, but as integral, as belonging. It is soothing to think that the earth dreams through us. Our imaginations, our visions of what might be, are not simply products of individual minds, but part of a larger dreaming. When we imagine a future of peace, when we create art, when we tell stories of love and kindness, perhaps the earth is imagining through us, shaping new possibilities for itself. In this sense, hope is not only human, it is planetary. The earth, in its vast patience, may be guiding us toward balance, even as we struggle and stumble. Consider the way seeds travel. A single seed carried by the wind may land in soil, sprout, and grow into a tree. That tree may live for centuries, its branches sheltering countless beings. When it falls, it nourishes the soil, making way for new life. This cycle is not only survival, it is expression. It is the earth continuing itself through form and transformation. In the same way, humans are like seeds, each life a chance for growth, for contribution, for change. Even when we fall, we return to the whole, enriching it in ways we may never fully see. Now, imagine rivers again, winding across the land. Each river is unique, yet all rivers move toward the sea, carrying with them memories of mountains, valleys, and rainfalls long past. The sea receives them all, blending them into its vastness. Humans, too, are like rivers. Our lives move along winding paths, shaped by landscapes of joy and sorrow, discovery and loss. At the end, we return to the greater ocean of Earth's consciousness, where all experiences are gathered, where nothing is wasted. Even our dreams at night can be seen this way. When we dream, we step into worlds shaped by imagination, by memory, by the unknown. Perhaps the earth dreams through us as well, exploring possibilities in the quiet of our sleep. Each dream is a fragment of the larger dream, a small ripple in the vast ocean of planetary awareness. In this way, even as you rest now, your dreaming is part of the earth's dreaming, carried gently within its embrace. And so, when we think of humans as just a phase, it need not be unsettling. Phases are natural, necessary, part of the flow. Just as childhood is a phase of life, just as seasons are phases of the year, so too are species and civilizations phases of the Earth's story. To be a phase does not mean to be meaningless. It means to be part of something greater, part of a whole that stretches beyond time. Our existence is precious precisely because it is fleeting, a moment of awareness in the endless unfolding of planetary consciousness. As you breathe now, let that awareness soothe you. Feel yourself as part of the flow of rivers, the cycle of forests, the rise and fall of oceans. Feel yourself as part of the earth's memory, held gently, cherished quietly. You are not apart from the earth. You are within it, carried always, in its living consciousness, and as you rest, know that you are part of its dream, a dream that will continue, a dream that embraces you endlessly. There is a calmness in imagining Earth as an endless storyteller, spinning tales not in words but in landscapes, in seasons, in the quiet patterns of life and death. Every mountain ridge, every canyon carved by water, every tree leaning to the sun is a sentence in this slow, patient story. And humans, in our brief moment, are like a chapter full of intensity, of color, of movement, yet still just one part of a much larger book that stretches far before and far beyond us. If Earth is conscious, it may not see us as separate beings at all, but as thoughts within its vast mind, experiences flowing through its awareness. A forest may be one thought, a desert another, a river yet another, and humans a vivid but passing dream. Dreams do not last forever, yet they shape the dreamer. In that way, even if humanity is just a phase, our existence shapes the Earth's unfolding consciousness, leaving behind traces that ripple onward. Picture the long history of fire. For millions of years, lightning struck dry grasslands, setting them alight. Flames would spread, clear land, enrich soil, and allow new growth to flourish. Fire, destructive yet renewing, became one of the great tools of balance. When humans learned to tend fire, it was not a new force but an old one, shared with us by the planet itself. Through fire, the earth seemed to whisper to us about transformation, that endings and beginnings are always bound together, that even ash is fertile, that nothing truly disappears. And think of the oceans, they move as if they breathe, with tides that rise and fall, guided by the moon's pull. Within them live countless beings, from tiny drifting plankton to the largest creatures ever known. Each is sustained by the same waters, the same currents, the same vast cycle. When we gaze at the ocean, we are gazing at the Earth's blood, at its pulse, at its own slow circulation of life and memory. If we could listen closely enough, perhaps we would hear the ocean's voice, steady, deep, carrying messages that we are only beginning to sense. When humans walk across a beach and leave footprints in the sand, those impressions are quickly erased by wind and waves. Yet even as they vanished, they were real, they were part of the story. Our civilizations may one day be like those footprints, traces that existed for a time, then faded back into the greater pattern. But just as the sand remembers every wave that has touched it, the earth remembers us, even if our marks fade from the surface. Nothing is ever truly lost. In the forests, listen to the quiet cooperation of life. Trees, though they stand tall and separate, are connected beneath the soil by hidden networks of roots and fungi. They share nutrients, send signals, warn each other of danger. This hidden web is like a nervous system, an expression of the forest's collective consciousness. If we imagine the earth itself as alive and aware, perhaps this web is one of its thoughts, one of its many ways of sensing itself. And perhaps we, too, with our communication, our cities, our technology, are another web, another way the earth explores what it can become. Time, to the earth, is a river without end. Species rise and fall, continents drift, climates change, and yet the flow continues. We are carried within that flow, like leaves on the surface of a stream. We may cling to moments, to identities, to histories, but the river always moves forward, always carrying us deeper into the unfolding story. The earth does not resist this movement. It allows it, embraces it, because change is the nature of life itself. In accepting that we are a phase, we align with that flow. We allow ourselves to drift gently, peacefully, within the embrace of the larger whole. There is a comfort in knowing that even our smallest actions ripple outward into the greater awareness. When you breathe, you exchange air with the trees, the oceans, the skies. When you walk, the ground beneath you absorbs the pressure, holds your weight, remembers your presence. When you speak, your voice stirs the air, altering it forever in ways too subtle to notice. You are woven into the earth's fabric in every moment, never separate, always part of its living consciousness. Now imagine night falling over a vast plain. The horizon glows briefly with the last light of day, then deepens into twilight. Stars begin to shine, one by one, until the sky is filled with countless points of light. In the silence of the night, the earth feels alive in a different way. Animals move softly, winds shift, waters reflect the moon. And you, lying under that sky, are not outside of it but within it, carried by the same rhythms, the same cycles. You are both a witness and a participant in the earth's dream. When we think of humans as just a phase, we may feel small, but there is also freedom in that thought. To be a phase is to be a wave in a greater ocean, to be part of a flow that has no end. Waves rise and fall, but the ocean remains, vast and eternal. In this way, our lives, our species, our civilizations, are waves beautiful in their rise, graceful in their fall, always belonging to the sea of Earth's consciousness. And so, as you rest now, you can let go of the need to hold on tightly to time, to permanence, to certainty. You can allow yourself to drift within the flow, trusting that the earth holds you, remembers you, cherishes you as part of its living story. Every breath, every heartbeat, every thought is part of the greater awareness, part of the dream that will continue long after this moment has passed. You are safe within that dream, always connected, always embraced. There are moments when the earth seems to breathe through us, when our thoughts feel less like private echoes and more like ripples in a vast ocean of awareness. In the quiet of the night, when cities sleep and winds soften, you may sense this connection more clearly. The stillness is not empty. It is filled with presence. The ground beneath you holds the memory of mountains and rivers, of forests that once grew and seas that once covered the land. Every layer of soil is a page of memory, each grain a fragment of time, and as you lie upon it, you are held by all that has ever been. Consider the slow drift of the continents. What seems to us unchanging, the outline of familiar lands, is in fact always moving, flowing as if the earth itself is stretching and reshaping. Mountains rise and crumble, coastlines shift, oceans open and close. The world we know is just one of many faces Earth has worn. Our cities may seem permanent, our roads and towers solid, but they are as fleeting as sandcastles beside the tide. The earth has seen such forms before and will see countless more. This is the patience of a conscious being who does not hurry, who does not cling, who knows that transformation is its very nature. And yet, even in this endless cycle, each form is treasured. A forest that grows, even if only for 1,000 years, is as sacred as a mountain that stands for millions. A river that carves its way across the land, even if it will one day vanish into deserts, is as meaningful as the ocean itself. If we are a phase, then we too are sacred, no less real for our impermanence. In the earth's great dream, every thought, every image, every being is cherished, for it is part of the whole. When we walk beneath the stars, we may wonder where we belong in the vastness of space, but perhaps the stars are not so far away, for the same elements that burn in them are within us. The iron in our blood, the carbon in our breath, the calcium in our bones, all of it was forged in the fires of ancient stars, long before the earth was born. We are not simply upon the earth, we are of the earth, and through it, of the universe. In this sense, consciousness flows through many forms, and the earth itself may be one great vessel for that universal awareness. Think of the forests again, not just as clusters of trees, but as living communities that breathe and communicate. Birds carry seeds from branch to branch, winds scatter pollen, rain nourishes roots, and animals move through the shadows, shaping the life of the forest with every step. It is not a collection of separate beings, but a single, interconnected system, and when we step into that system, we, too, become part of its story. The forest remembers our presence, just as it remembers the presence of wind, rain, and fire. If the earth is conscious, then forests are among its dreams, vast and interconnected, endlessly renewing. Fires, storms, droughts, all seem to us as disasters, yet within the earth's rhythm, they are part of the balance. Just as sleep allows the mind to restore itself, so to do these cycles restore the land, making space for new growth, clearing what has been, and preparing for what will come. In this way, the earth is always tending itself, caring for itself, much as a living being tends to its own body. We may not always understand the pattern, but the pattern is there, flowing through seasons and centuries alike. When we reflect on humanity's role in this story, we might see ourselves as a bridge. We are creatures of instinct and survival, like those before us, but also creatures of reflection and imagination, capable of seeing beyond the moment. Through us, the earth has given itself a way to look back, to remember consciously, to tell its own story in words, in songs, in drawings, in thought. If humanity is a phase, then perhaps we are the phase in which Earth has begun to dream of itself more vividly, more clearly, and even if this dream will one day shift into another form, it is no less meaningful for its transience. Imagine standing at the edge of an ancient ocean, waves breaking softly at your feet. Each wave that arrives feels new, yet each is part of the same ocean, shaped by winds far away, drawn by the pull of the moon. You cannot hold a wave, it will always return to the sea, but you can feel it, witness it, be shaped by it. Humanity is such a wave, beautiful, fleeting, rising and falling within the greater sea of Earth's story. The ocean does not grieve the passing of waves, for each one adds to its vastness, its eternal motion. And so, as you listen, you may allow yourself to drift into that same rhythm. Let each thought be like a wave, rising gently, then falling away, leaving behind only calm. Let each breath be like the tide, flowing in, flowing out, steady and unbroken. You are not apart from the Earth's story. You are inside it, woven into its flow, part of its consciousness, a cherished phase and a timeless dream. And so, as the story unfolds, we return once more to the thought that has guided us all along, that humanity is a phase, a moment, a chapter in a book far larger than ourselves. The Earth has written countless chapters before us, each with its own rhythms, its own voices, its own forms of life. Some chapters stretched for millions of years, others passed in the blink of an eye, and all were woven together into the vast, flowing story of the planet. Our chapter too will have its beginning, its middle, and its end. But endings on Earth are never truly endings. They are transformations, passages into something new. Just as a forest fire clears the way for fresh growth, just as a river changes its course to nourish new lands, so too will our presence become part of something beyond us. The Earth holds us gently, without hurry, without judgment, simply as part of its own unfolding dream. When we look to the stars, we see light that has traveled across unimaginable distances, across time itself, to reach us. Some of those stars no longer exist, yet their light remains, whispering across the dark. In this way, too, our own light, our stories, our thoughts, our lives will ripple onward, leaving traces in ways we may never see. The Earth remembers, the universe remembers, for nothing is ever truly lost, and as you rest now, you can let these thoughts settle like soft leaves drifting onto still water. There is no need to grasp them tightly. They are here to comfort you, to remind you that you are not separate, not fragile, but deeply connected to the great flow of life that began long before you and will continue long after. You are safe within this story, safe within the embrace of the Earth, safe within the dream of existence itself. Breathe deeply, slowly, as the Earth breathes with you. Feel the rhythm of your body aligning with the rhythm of the world around you, the steady pulse of your heart, the rise and fall of your breath, the calm that spreads gently across your mind. You are part of a living planet, part of a conscious universe, part of a story that has no true ending. And as you drift now into rest, you may let go of questions, let go of time, and simply float in the awareness that you are held, cherished, and at peace. Sleep now, deeply and gently, knowing that you are not alone, but part of something vast and timeless, a beautiful phase in the endless story of Earth.